Welcome into market to have you here. Ryan Trengrove, your Class A Pro. I'm recording, and we're going to take a look here first at your setup. So setup looks pretty good. I feel like you're athletic enough in your posture. Chin up maybe more is not bad. Now, arm position, still the inner part of the left arm, we need to have that facing more out. So there was some stuff in Ben Hogan's book where he talks about this right here. He says how the left elbow points at the left hip and the right elbow points to the right hip. So see how the inner parts of his elbow are facing out? Okay. The reason we do that is because we need to create something called the triangle, right? Our arms should be in the triangle shape. They even sell shirts that look like this for that reason, right? Because the simplest motion in golf, because the golf swing is a double lever pendulum, okay? So what that means is this, that there's two hinge points, okay, in physics. So basically, what we're going to do first, though, this would be, two hinge points. Again, this part turning and then that part hinging, right? Well, it's good at first to do what's called a one lever motion first, which is learning how to just do the triangle from waist to waist with no wrist involved, okay? And so basically what we need to do is we got to get your arms to be more in the triangle shape to start with. Now, let me see as you start making movement what's happening here, and I'll explain further. So let me go like this. So here we go. So then I'm going to put a line also where your hands are. And then let's see. Okay, so see how you immediately are hinging your wrist here? Okay. Okay, so you immediately hinge your wrist, and then your balance is going forward. And to me, this is because you've got the wrong muscle groups firing. Okay. So what's supposed to happen instead is your upper torso, which is from your waist to your neck, is supposed to be turning to move your arms in the triangle, okay? While your legs and your head are supposed to be very still, okay? So we need to get your wrist out of this picture, and we need to get the lower body being stable while you're turning your triangle, as we call it. Now here you're gonna see as you come out, your hands reach out, and then your balance goes forward, right? So at first we're gonna immediately start to work on this, and then also the other thing I should mention, see on the way through here how your arms, they break down. There's no triangle going on here in the arms, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the triangle from waist high to waist high, okay? So let me do this first here. So if you would, what I want you to do, Amar, is come over here for me and press the space bar when I hit this. I'm going to hit a shot real quick, the shot that we're working on first here. And I just want you to press the space bar when you hear the sound of the ball being struck. So right around then, it doesn't have to be perfect. But right when you hear the sound of the ball. So I'm going to do what's called we call this turning the triangle. So see how my arms and my shoulders and everything are moving together? That's the same thing that I'm going to do from here to here in my swing. Another way to kind of practice this would be with our arms like this, and then trying to turn your shoulders while keeping your head and your legs very still. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate, and then I'm going to have you press the space bar for me in just a moment. Perfect. Okay, so to me, this is one of the first things I learned from my teacher, who was one of the top teachers in the state of New Jersey. And what it is it's kind of like that machine also that's out there called the Iron Byron, right? I don't know if you've heard of that or seen that. I'm talking about, that hits golf balls, right? It looks like this. Okay, so this machine, right, that hits balls, right? It's found the bottom of it's stationary, right? It's got a wheel that turns, and then there's a hinge in the handle, right? The base doesn't move, right? And the spine angle doesn't change. See, the modern golf swing, I'm trying to be sort of like this machine, okay? So my lower body here is kind of like the foundation part here. My head's going to stay steady, okay? And then what the theory is that my arms, which are positioned in this triangular shape, kind of like in volleyball, how they have the arms positioned, kind of, to hit the volleyball really close together. The motor that you're going to see, I'm going to use my torso. I'm going to turn my core, right, back and forth. Okay, so you're going to see here on both sides how I'm not going to move from side to side, and I'm going to move my triangle back and forth. So, for example, watch this here. So if we look, I got my arms in the triangle right now, right? And then as I'm going to turn my shoulders back, there's no wrist movement. I'm just turning my shoulders. and leaving my arms attached to my shoulders, and that brings the club back to here. This is a correct takeaway. And then I'm going to turn my shoulders the other way with my arms, and you can see, look, I still have the triangle, right? And see how this stays in this shape, right? As I'm using what? I'm using my torso or my core, right? Now think of this. I know with martial arts, you probably understand this. In boxing, if somebody's jumping around like this and jabbing, you're not as worried because their feet are moving. They don't have the ground to use for leverage, right? When they plant their lower body, then what they can do is what? They can use the core, right? Well, that's kind of what's going on here. The lower body has to be kind of fixed to the ground for us to then have access to utilizing the core, you see? And so that's why the lower body has to be stable as we turn the triangle. But you can see here how my head stayed in the same spot, and I've kept my triangle back and forth on both sides. So this is the first objective to be able to do this shot. Now, just to help you understand where we're headed and where this goes, okay, real quick, I'm just going to demonstrate just a few other shots real fast. Okay, and I'm recording all this for you. Basically, where it goes from the triangle from waist to waist is then learning how to do the triangle from shoulder high to shoulder high. So from here to there. That would be me turning my triangle bigger on both sides, right? Then of course we have to include, if you look over here, Mar, picture 3, right? We have to then do what? After we turn the triangle, we have to let the momentum of the club head cause the hinge, and then turn our triangle back through. So we turn the triangle hinge, turn the triangle back through. That's like phase 3, okay? Once somebody's doing that, then there's something called the down hinge, where we turn our triangle and then we down hinge our elbow, which creates whip, and that's what sends the ball further. So as I do a bigger shot for you, then I have whip like that, and then that sends the ball further. So this is kind of how we're going to build our way up and get you back on track to hitting solid shots. Okay, so with that said, let me go.